good parliamentary practice. The Honourable Sandra Carr.
President, thank you. I rise to support this incredibly important motion moved by the Honourable Lorna Harper. The motion is important for a range of reasons, not least of all that early childhood education certainly saved me on a number of occasions. I remember placing my son in early childhood education and it being quite a sanity saver for me at the time. He was a very lively child, and as they say, it takes a community to raise a child, and it certainly did in the case of my son. I would like to acknowledge the comments made by the Honourable Donna Farragut in that I certainly agree that our early childhood educators in schools are also particularly important, and I can attest to that, having been a high school teacher and during my career having done some relief work at a variety of schools, one of them being in a pre-primary context. And I've never had so much respect for the work that educators do after having to deal with primary students, pre-primary students. They are incredibly challenging, and it requires incredible skill and expertise to deliver education to that group of students. They are really challenging, and I honestly give me high school students any day. I love the young people, but they are so incredibly challenging, and I have so much respect for the work that people do in that context. So I will say that investment in our early childhood education and care sector is everybody's business. It is such an important service that we provide to our community. The provision of high quality childhood education delivers almost innumerable results for our community, and it is incredibly important that we deliver best practice education to those young people, and also that it is appropriately remunerated. As we've heard, the research does tell us that quality early childhood education and care leads to better health outcomes, it leads to better education outcomes down the track for young people, and it also leads to better employment outcomes. Those things are difficult to imagine when you're talking about tiny little children, but the long-term benefits and the lifelong rewards that early childhood education brings for our community is incredibly significant. It's been clearly established that the first 5 years of life in particular, and as we've heard a couple of times now, are critical building blocks for the lifelong learning, wellbeing and health of our young people. There's been research around for a long time now, and we know there was a Nobel Prize winner in economics, James Heckman, who has clearly just demonstrated over a number of years now, I think he won that Nobel Prize about 10 years ago now, indicating that high quality early childhood learning experiences are crucial to a child's development. And in particular for those who are experiencing disadvantage in some way, as they are more vulnerable in developing language issues around language and cognitive problems as they enter the school context. Those first 5 years are critical. They're critical in terms of social and emotional wellbeing, academic success and their own lifelong learning opportunities. These are all things that we want for healthy, thriving communities and healthy, thriving economic outcomes for our community as well. I'll also concur with comments made in terms of the importance of play-based learning and developmentally appropriate learning. That research is irrefutable. It helps children have a strong sense of identity, it helps them to be connected and contribute to their world, it helps develop a strong sense of their well-being, it develops confident and involved learners, and it helps them to become effective communicators. We must not underestimate the importance of play, and I've seen that in a school in Geraldton, in the Geraldton Grammar School, where some of their very early education, even in the years 1 and 2, are highly focused on this element of play, and the outcomes they deliver are excellent for those young people. The early childhood sector is critical in supporting our WA's economic recovery, and particularly during post-COVID and during the following the pandemic and beyond. These are the young people of our future, and they will be delivering to our economic success in the future. That is why the McGowan government has made a $5.1 million commitment to improving access to childcare in the regions. $4.1 million to support the viability of regional childcare by working with regional providers, giving advice, support and resources, and supporting the cluster model of governance and compliance. And I'll talk a little bit about more to that in a moment. It's also providing a $1 million capped grant program being developed in consultation with regional local governments to support them in attracting and retaining childcare workers. This is such an important commitment because it's about the delivery of what we've already heard on a couple of occasions now is crucial for our young people, that early education. Earlier this year, when I moved a motion noting the importance of the valuable contribution of the regional economic development grants, my colleague, the Honourable Peter Foster, spoke of a red grant provided to develop a childcare centre in Denham, a centre that required more space to match the capacity of local staff and to operate a family daycare model that is overseen by Ngala. That centre has allowed for people to engage in the workplace and it provides other economic benefits, but even more importantly, it sets up the community for the future by providing those invaluable early childhood education experiences for the younger people in the community that can then go on to be healthy, lifelong, capable learners who are socially and economically intelligent. More recently, I also had the opportunity, again with the Honourable Peter Foster, to visit a Kalbarri childcare centre in which the Honourable Peter Foster presented a Lottery West cheque to the Kalbarri childcare centre to the tune of about $12,500. This was going towards a nature-based outdoor play area. Opportunity for the young people at that centre to engage in learning through play and contact with the environment. And the rewards that centre communicated to us when we were there about what that would bring for the students was really heartening to hear. They did also tell us, though, about some of the issues they're facing in securing workers in that sector for their particular childcare centre, particularly being a more regionally based centre. Kalbarri being a place that was hit by Cyclone Seroja, as we know. They've got a significant undersupply in the workforce there, and the childcare centre has experienced that in that people can't actually go and fill those jobs. So there's people at home caring for children who would like to be able to fill those working roles but can't do so because of the need for more staff in the childcare sector in Kalbarri. Many of these models of childcare in the region are heavily dependent upon the capacity of the individual operators and volunteers and the abilities of shires to recruit staff with relevant qualifications. We can't underestimate the importance of ensuring affordable, accessible and flexible training options for childcare workers living and working in regional communities. It's an essential component of ensuring continuity of childcare service delivery in regional communities. And it's something that I'll be taking a keen interest as the member for the agricultural region. And having said that, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of developments in regional childcare services. In particular, I'd like to mention READ, the Regional Early Education Development Incorporation. A little while ago, the Wheatbelt Early Childhood Education Sustainability Project was funded by the WA Government and Lottery West to find a way to ensure early childhood economic and childcare services could continue to be provided throughout the Wheatbelt region for the benefit of families, communities and the Wheatbelt economy, and that they would be sustainable and deliver high-quality education programs for children in those critical early years. Consequently, they developed a cluster model of governance to manage and deliver high-quality early learning experiences in childcare, to identify opportunities to strengthen the quality of early learning centres in the regions, and to promote equitable delivery of service. READ was established in March 2018 as a single governance and management model with the goal of achieving that sustainability throughout the region. They now have around 20 approved services in the wheat belt, including a mix of long daycare, home daycare, occasional daycare and after-school care in places such as Brookton, Bruce Rock, Corrigan, Cunderdin, Dalwallinu, Darkin, Dowran, Hyden, Merredin, Muckenbudden, Narrabeen, Narrogin, Pingelly, Quarrading, Wickepin, Wandowie, Yilgarn or Southern Cross, and they're also potentially looking at developing and managing services in Northampton, Three Springs and Perenjori. I'd also like to take this opportunity to commend Reid for its commitment to ongoing professional development, an area that the Honourable Lorna Harper mentioned was problematic in the for-profit sector. Earlier this year in January, Reid held an educators' conference with the theme of Ready, Set, Grow, Safety-Wise Children. Their focus on that professional development and developing teamwork in what would otherwise be a whole range of isolated communities is a significant contributor to the success and the ongoing success of the early childhood education sector in the wheat belt, and I'd like to commend them for that. And they're looking forward to planning their next conference in 2022. I'd also like to mention the Ngala family daycare service, which provides home or venue-based childcare in regional areas of WA, including the Mid-West Gascoyne and the Pilbara. They currently have 15 educators in Geraldton, as well as home or venue-based educators in Morawat, Denham and throughout the Pilbara. All the Ngala educators in these locations are currently operating to capacity. There is a huge demand and a growing demand and recognition of the value of these early childhood education experiences. We have to have supports that are available and compatible with the needs of the community. The McGowan government's Lower Fees, Lower Skills initiative to reduce pay fees for early childhood education and care courses by 50% from 2020, with a recent announcement that reduced fees would continue until 2025, will go a long way to servicing that need and ensuring that we have the skills and the number and range of people to fulfil the places in those centres. Since its rollout on the 1st of January 2020, there have been 2,380 enrolments in the Cert 3 of early childhood education and 1,280 enrolments in the Diploma of Early Childhood Education and Care. As also mentioned by the Honourable Lorna Harper, it is crucial that our childcare workers are appropriately remunerated for the invaluable work they offer. We cannot continue to undervalue the level of expertise that these people offer our children and the incredible importance of what they're delivering for our young people. That crucial first 5 years of brain development for our young people. We have to stop undervaluing that contribution. We have to appropriately remunerate to attract quality people who can afford to stay in those jobs, who want to stay in those jobs because they're being appropriately remunerated for the incredible skill and expertise they offer. They're educators. The passion and the heart that we saw in the delivery by the Honourable Lorna Harper is representative of the passion and the heart of the people who work in our early education sector. We have to value their work and that passion and their heart that they deliver to our young people. It is a derelict of duty of us if we don't. Thank you.
Thank you.